And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the fine Scottish weather. The rain's just starting to come down. But anyway, welcome back to the channel. This is Ryan at Milligan Auto Services. Today we are going to be taking you along with the jobs that we've got planned. We've got a total of 3 diagnostic jobs to get done. Hopefully we're going to be able to repair them today as well. So let's crack on with the first one. So here you join me. We've got this Nissan NV200. The customer has actually had 7 guys at this. Unfortunately, no repairs. It's had 4 ABS sensors replaced on it. Those ABS sensors obviously haven't fixed the issue. So he's asked us to attend it. So we're just going to do a full health scan on this car. So this is the shape of it, just like the Renault Trafics. So that is the shape. So you can see there. NV300, I should say. And that's the type. And it's 2016. And what we'll do is we'll let it run through a full health scan. The reason we let it go through a full health scan is because even though we've only been phoned out for an ABS fault, if there is other faults in the system, we can give that report to the customer. The customer can then take action on them if he wishes to. So we're going to let this do a full health scan and we'll get back to you. So the full system scan is completed. We've just come into the ABS control unit and you can see we've got a vast amount of codes there. So the front right, left hand wheel speed, front right hand wheel speed, they're passed. Like we said, this has had 4 ABS sensors, so there is bound to be faults that are previous or past tense anyway. So we've also got a couple of pump motor circuit 1, rear left hand wheel speed, which is supposedly passed, computer power supply. Now these two for the pump, so this one and this one, I believe the ABS pump has been disconnected with the ignition on, so that's why they're there. But the two that we're interested in is the current ones, which is C003795, C003A95. So that is both rear ABS sensors. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into data stream and we're going to monitor those speeds just to confirm that the 2 front wheel speed sensors are actually getting a reading, and we can just continue with the 2 rears and just rule out the front. So what we'll do is we'll go on to data stream, going to left hand rear right, left hand front right. So we're just looking for speed. So you can see that the 2 rears, so left hand and right hand, are reading a default value of 655 kilometers. Obviously we're at a standstill, we're not going, you know, whatever that is in miles per hour. Let's see if we can change it just for now. So basically we've got 655 kilometers, which is a default value. So we're going to dive under the vehicle and have a look, just have a visual inspection under the car and look for any obvious signs of failures. But the fact that we have got 2 ABS sensors that are coming up as faulty is a bit strange, and obviously your ABS sensors are not likely to share wires, so you'll just have your 2 wires for each sensor. So we'll need to see what's happened here. So if we look under here, you can see our ABS sensor wires actually run underneath this heat shield, and it's definitely been, by the looks of it, it's definitely been touched. So that's at the offside rear. Obviously it'll be the same situation for the near side rear. So I think what we'll do in this case is just We've done a visual obviously, so we'll just need to check for power going to those sensors. And they tend to fail around about this area here. I don't know if it's the same, but that's where the loom runs up for the offside. So what actually happens is the wiring loom runs along here and then makes its way into that connector. At least we've got a good reference point to see if we've got any sort of voltage drop across. So if we've got a voltage drop from there to there, or an open circuit, we'll be able to test at a different point rather than going directly at the ABS pump, depending on where the possible open circuit is. But we'll just need to see what we've got at the plugs first off, and then we'll take it from there. So I've removed that plug, and the plug is absolutely spotless, so there's nothing wrong with the plug underneath the where it sits just above the subframe. So I think the easiest way to go with this really is just to load test the wires, just to be 100% that there isn't a wiring fault. So we're going to either load test them from the ABS pump itself, or if we can't get to that easy enough, we are going to load test them from that plug. Load testing, what we'll do is we'll just use the 5 amp H7 bulb, just put that on the wheel speed sensor side, with the wheel speed sensor unplugged of course. We will then run voltage or pass current through the 2 wires, and if this bulb lights up bright, then we know that there isn't a wiring issue. So well, let's just do that. So I'll show you the setup that we've got here, guys. So basically we are connected in to the offside rear. So we've connected into that plug, so that plug then runs all the way up to the back of the van itself. So that is where we're load testing it from. The ABS pump itself is a wee bit difficult to get access into. So what I'm going to do is we've just got a wee Durite jump pack here. So if we just switch this on, we can set it to bypass 12 volts, so we can just directly feed it 12 volts. That will then hopefully light up this bulb. You can see that's a bulb there. So if that bulb lights up, we're good. So we've seen there that the bulb actually lights up. Now the reason I'm doing this, this load testing, is because this van's came with a bit of a backstory, and I just want to be 100%, even though we've done the voltage checks. It's always good to load test the wiring. Visually inspecting this wiring isn't the easiest because it obviously runs above the fuel tank and then right along the near side. So we always want to be 100%, so we're just going to do the same test on the other side just to confirm that the wiring is good. So we've just set these up for the opposite side, so you can see there we've got the bulb set up, and if I just override that, so if I turn this off, so if I just override that and we will touch that to the positive, you can see the bulb lights up. So we know the wiring from this point here all the way to the back is fine, and the likelihood of the wiring failing from, you know, there to the ABS pump, there isn't much wiring there to fail, so we can conclude that the wiring is absolutely fine. I've just had a wee bit of a conversation with the customer there as well. He has confirmed that the sensors on the back are 2 genuine Renault sensors, or Nissan sensors. So the only thing left is the actual pump, the ABS control unit itself. You can see that we've still got the 2 fault codes that are current, and the actual ABS readings, so the speeds are still stuck at 655. So I mean, the only option that we've got is the ABS pump. If I've load tested all that wiring and it's passed, he had 2 aftermarket sensors fitted. He swapped them out for another 2 aftermarket sensors, and then he went for 2 genuine ones. So I mean, that kind of rules everything out on that side of things, and it looks like we have got a faulty pump. So let's move on to the next one. I believe it's a Hyundai Tucson with a 5V ref circuit fault. So we'll crack on with that. So we've arrived at our next one. This one's a Hyundai Tucson. It's a 2017 model, and the customer is complaining of an intermittent lack of power. It usually happens while he's on the motorway. Don't know if that's related, but what we've done is we've done a health scan, and we've got a P0642 sensor reference voltage A, circuit low. What that means is the 5V reference somewhere is becoming open circuit, or something is pulling that reference voltage down. Obviously your reference voltage is shared among sensors on the engine that uses it. We have had issues with these before, so if this fault doesn't come back, we will be taking the air filter box out, because usually the wiring fails underneath the air filter box. It can rub through the wiring harness, which can cause a similar fault. So let's crack on with that. What we're going to do is we're going to run the vehicle first, see if we can wiggle the harness to get the fault to come active. If it does not come active, then we're just going to need to do a visual inspection underneath that air filter box, and hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this one today, so we don't need to come back. So yeah, let's crack on. So this is why doing a visual inspection is the most important thing you can do. So obviously this fault's intermittent, it's not happening now, I can't get it to happen, but I've just done a visual inspection of the wiring itself, and I'll show you what I found. If you look at that, so just there, right there, that dark spot, see how the rest of it is dirty? So that dark spot, you can tell that the wiring harness has been rubbing on that area. It's been rubbing, and you can actually see that where it's been shorting out on that red and yellow tracer. So that there, if I can focus, has just been rubbing against that, intermittently shorting that 5V reference circuit to ground, causing everything in its path to go down with it. So we're going to actually open up that wiring harness and inspect whether or not it's went through far enough to the actual copper inside the wire, or if we might get away with just giving it a tape and securing it a bit better. So you can see it has sewn through enough for me to actually repair that. So I'm just going to put a heat shrink in it. It's starting to rain, typical. So I'm just going to put a heat shrink in that, tape it up, put a bit of conduit where it's rubbing, and we'll be good to go for another so many thousand miles. So that's the repair done on this Hyundai Tucson. Basically what I've done is just obviously repaired the wire that was chaffing through, and you can see we've got this heavy duty conduit, which is obviously taped as well, which isn't going to move, so it's not going to rub through that as easily. And then once we've got the air filter box up, we'll just cable tie it up a wee bit higher so it doesn't rub through at all. But apart from that, thanks for watching again. This is a Hyundai Tucson 2017. I think we're going to be moving on to a Fiat Panda next. May as well take you through that one as well. So you join me again. We're at this wee Fiat Panda. It's a 57 plate. So that's 2007. And the customer's complaining of a no crank condition. So I'll just show you what it's doing. This is probably going to be a quick one. It might just be the starter. So if we try and crank it, so we turn the ignition on. So if we try and start the car, I'll show you what it's actually doing. So if we try and crank it now, you can hear that the solenoid, the actual starter solenoid, is trying to engage. However, it's not. So we're going to be testing the battery, which is good at the moment. So 12.2. What we're going to do is just test our earth. So basically we're going to put a multimeter lead on battery positive and just bring the other lead over to the rocker cover, and you can see we've got 12 volts. So we'll need to put that under a load, make sure the earth is good. So if we stick it under a load, I'll just bring these across here. So if you just watch this, you can see that there's a massive drop. So what we've got, by the looks of things, is a bad earth. So what we can do, just to prove that, is take this short lead and put that onto an earth with a battery post. So if we just put that there, stick that there, basically that's giving us a new earth, even though it's through a small lamp, but you should be able to start it now. So you can see there, a wee bit smoky, but that's just to basically get it running. But he's going to need to put a new earth on this. So just a simple basic test. You could have easily put a starter motor on that just with the noise that it was making, but it wouldn't have made a difference. And I don't know if you've seen a starter motor on these little things, but they are a nightmare to get to. So another simple one, out in the rain. Unfortunately the weather's back to normal. It is teaming it down, but we don't mind, do we? That's why we became mobile. So that's the end of that video. Thanks for watching. If anybody wants to get in contact, I will leave my email right there. That's the best way to get in contact with us, to get a reply. Unfortunately, trying to reply to phone calls and messages is quite difficult. We do get quite a lot, so if you leave us an email, we'll definitely get back to you within a couple of days. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.